Hey everybody, today I'm going to be making some of my breakfast pastries. These are cream cheese strawberry filled Danishes. They are a lot like the fathead dough that you will make for the everything bagel, just a few things substituted. So I do have my almond flour. I have two different types of sweetener here. I have the Sucre Gold, which is more like a brown sugar. And then I have Swerve, I have my mozzarella, my cream cheese. Also for the fathead dough, I have a small bit of heavy cream that I'm going to be mixing with the cream cheese for the topping part, and I'll show you guys what I do with that later. I do have cinnamon, vanilla, baking powder, a little bit of sea salt, 2 eggs, and of course my Irish full fat butter. Make sure that you're always using a full fat butter when you guys are baking of any kind, especially for low carb keto. I just like the blocks much better for this. So I'm going to go ahead and get the fathead dough going. It's just my typical fathead dough with about 2 cups of the almond flour, about 2 cups of mozzarella, 2 ounces of the cream cheese, and the eggs, and mix all that together until I get a nice dough. And I will go ahead and do that, since you guys have seen this before on my everything bagel, of how to do that in the microwave in a microwave safe bowl. I will show you what it looks like once I get finished with that, because I will be adding in a little bit of sugar and cinnamon to my fathead dough, just to give it a little bit more flavor for the strawberry cheese cream cheese Danish. So let's get started. So as always, you want your cheese, butter, and cream cheese to be super melty before you add in your almond flour, and definitely before you add your eggs as well. So as you guys can see, this is definitely starting to look more like the dough. You want this to be as smooth as possible and as doughy as possible before you add your eggs in, because if you need to heat this again, right now is the time to do it, to get it a little more pliable before you add the eggs, because after you add the eggs, you're not going to want to do that. So I'm actually going to heat this for about 30 more seconds just to get it really, smooth and working into each other as far as the cheese goes before I add my eggs in. I'm also going to add my vanilla extract. Go ahead and add that into here, as well as the cinnamon, the baking powder, a little bit of sea salt, and my brown sugar. So I will be adding about 1/4 of a cup of my brown sugar substitute into this, just because I want this Danish pastry to be a little sweeter. You do not have to do those things. You do not have to add any of that. If you just like for this to taste a little more buttery, that's fine. I'm making mine sweet. Once you add the eggs to this and the baking powder and mix it all together, your dough is technically finished, but you can add raisins, cinnamon, you can add blueberries into here, you can add your everything but the bagel spice into here, and then you will have your normal typical bagels. Okay, so my dough is nice and doughy now. This is everything in here. This is the eggs, this is the vanilla, this is the salt, the cinnamon, the brown sugar substitute. So this is now ready, and I can go ahead and get my parchment paper and oiled down pan out. Go ahead and make the strings and O's, circles, with my dough, and get ready for the strawberry cream cheese filling. What I'm going to be doing with the strawberries, as you can see, is I'm taking just whole strawberries. I'm cutting them fairly small here. I'm then going to be adding in just a little bit of my sugar substitute and a little bit of heavy cream, just a very teeny tiny amount, just to be able to mash this down and make almost like a strawberry type jam or paste out of this. And then I'll be topping the cream cheese that I'll put inside of each circle O of each Danish with this as well before I bake it. So go ahead and set your oven to 425 and let that be preheating. Yes. Okay, everybody, so for this particular recipe, I am making 5 large. This will make 6 normal size or 5 large for this specific recipe. I did sprinkle just lightly the tops of these with cinnamon and also a little bit of sea salt. I'm going to go ahead and put them in the oven at 425 for about 7 or 8 minutes, and then I will pull them out, put the topping on, and cook them the rest of the way. Okay guys, so while that bakes for about 7 or 8 minutes, this is what I did with my strawberries. I put a little bit of the Swerve confectioner sugar right there and a very teeny tiny amount of the heavy cream in there. I also went ahead and melted about another 2 ounces of cream cheese that that I will be mixing in the Swerve confectioners with a little bit of coconut oil as well, just to give it a little bit more fat. And then these are the things that I will be using to top in the middle of each Danish. Okay, so after about 7 or 8 minutes, this is what they're going to look like. They're going to look just like they do, about halfway done. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to spoon in a spoonful of cream cheese and a spoonful of strawberries into this little hole and around the top of each one and throw them back into the oven. I'll show you guys what it looks like once I'm finished. Okay, so as you guys can see, I top mine with quite a bit of the berries here. I do leave a lot of the juice down in there, so that heavy cream I was using was really just to try and get these a little juicier, that I don't actually use that heavy cream in here, but it will be included in the recipe as far as, you know, macros, because you don't really know how much actually got in there. So here is what it looks like. I'm going to throw it back into the oven for another 7 to 8 minutes. And when you're doing this, you're really just looking for a nice cook on these berries on the top as well as your breading on the bottom. So just eyeball it, because I know that everybody's oven is slightly different. But let's throw them back in and see how long it takes. Okay, everybody, so I left mine in for about 8.5 minutes. I like mine to be a little browner around the edges like this so that I know that it is completely done. So this is what the end result looks like. You, of course, would want to serve these immediately before they get soggy, but they also do freeze well. I will tell you that. If you're going to freeze them, eat them within about 3 months. If you're going to save them to eat throughout the rest of the week, just know that in the refrigerator, know that you do need to refrigerate them. And they might get a little soggy on you, but that's okay. I do want to note, I did not do this with my strawberries, but it is an option if you wanted to really blend these up to make almost like a paste. This is an option to be able to use. This is called Honest Syrup by Chalk Zero. It is strawberry. You will be adding about 2 carbs per tablespoon of this that you would use. They have a strawberry. They don't always have a strawberry, but they do generally have a fruit flavor. You can also use, which I might do, a chocolate syrup to drizzle across the top to enjoy. You can serve these hot. You can serve these cold, however you like it, whatever your preference is. If you like simple, easy recipes like this, follow me on Instagram at ketosismom. Or, as always, you can follow my website at ketosismom.net. Otherwise, subscribe to this YouTube channel, and I will do some easy recipes like this for you guys. Enjoy!